Hello, hello, we're back with some more Pale Beyond. We've just gone out to the ice, and this is our first week out on the ice. So, we've got our request tent, that's probably the best way to start the day. But I keep noticing there's these tiny little dots, so if you're too zoomed out, you might miss things. But we've got a little chat with Lady Cordell first. That young woman Kasha. Flash for camera startled my dog several times now. It's growing tiresome. If it proves a great distraction, let me know. Doubt your word would be enough to stop her? We still need all that loyalty. That camera is her sole purpose out here. As much as an annoyance it can be, it would not be right to rob her of that. Oh, good. You can pet a dog. Good boy, Stanberry. Let's see. No more dots up there. We can't go back on the ship, at least not yet. Maybe after requests. Let's say I don't see any other people. Okay, let's go to our request tent. Anything in the journal? Nothing whatsoever about the ship going... Well, the ship hasn't gone into the ice, but nothing about abandoning the ship. Okay, let's get to our requests. Oh, we've got a bunch. But I imagine a lot of people have something to say right now. Captain, the Temperance life is short, but we're in luck. Some good fortune? The lower decks are flooding quick, but that's fine. The coal is still usable. We should grab as much as we can before she goes under. Good to know. Agreed. We must gather as much as possible coal for the furnace. I best get to it. Junior? Ah, I was investigating the tinned foods we picked up from the Temperance. I should have expected this, but the tins were spoiled in the flooding. The tins were spoiled before the flooding, and they were on a deck above where all the flooding was happening, so I don't know about that. Is it still edible? Are you serious? We cannot afford to be too selective. It may not be pleasant, but if it can be eaten without poisoning the crew, it may still serve as rations. Hard to tell for certain there. It's certain to taste like death, but it may still be edible. The may in that sentence is not so comforting. Food is food, but I'm not sure if it's worth the risk. What do you think? So we've basically already made this decision. We've been seeing the spoiled food for... I guess this is week 7, so it was just last week that the poisoning actually showed up. But we got a whole bunch of them already. So yeah, we need to stretch the food as much as we possibly can. We need all the food we can get. Yeah, I made the Stokes brothers a little unhappy. And we're right on the edge of loyalty for Junior. Suppose we can't afford to be picky, can we? Who are sure to gripe about the taste. Add them to the pot if you think it's worth it. Lady Cordell, thank you for building some proper shelter for the dogs. Hey, I appreciate the assistance from the crew. Well, the dogs are an important factor in this expedition. I'm certain you and your kennel will repay us in kind. Needn't worry about that, Mr. Templeton. Again, thank you, Shaw. Shaw. Put a stop to those rumors going on about Hunt. Ah, that's simple. Sailors do seem to listen to you. They'll not be hearing them whispers again. Okay, that was from a previous week. Just reporting back. Yeah, I suppose that theory that the captain was somehow hiding in the walls of the ship would probably be really obvious if there's absolutely nobody else left in the ship at this point. I would find it wise to have a word with the journalist. Whatever reason, Hunt allowed for a photographer to tail alongside this expedition. As it stands, her record is what will stand the test of time when this expedition is spoken of. It seems she has not made allies of the crew. She doesn't seem the type to make enemies. Not with purpose or malice, Captain. The sailors of this crew are a private lot. They do not take kindly to the prying eyes of a landlubber, as they would say. Remember, she controls the story. She controls your story. Best to have a word. I haven't really gotten a whole ton of character-building moments in the past few weeks. There was a lot right in the beginning. Remember, Shaw, reputation can be fragile. You do not need an unflattering image at a time like this. So, continuing the thought, the role-playing aspect of it, it's a bit tough when the different things that you're saying literally affect the loyalty of the crew. So, certain stories that you may want to tell with a character will just, in theory, lose you the game if you're just choosing all of the dialogue options based on what would make sense for the character to say, but then messing up the loyalty. So Feel a little bit off about that. I suppose if I was really sticking to my guns, I could be telling the story as opposed to telling them what they want to hear. Oh no, I guess maybe I've changed the character unintentionally. But the ship seems accessible again. F&L. What's it this time, Tucker? These bloody cigs aren't worth the crap I stepped in. I'm the one who can step in crap on the ice, mate. Bloody right. Okay, we can look inside. Oh, it's empty. About the captain. Nothing in his cabin. But below deck, it looks like we can get as much as we can out of here, and this looks new. Scientist storeroom. Oh, we can assign scientists 1 to 3. This is basically the same as one of those research expeditions out on the ice. And if the ship really does go under always at week 8, then this is something that's going to go away, so we should probably try to assign scientists to this while we still can. There's always the chance the ship will last longer if we're not still sitting in it. Nothing else hidden. Our jacket is no longer on the wall. I guess that's moved out to our little hut on the ice. Anything in the doctor's office? Nope. Nothing up or down. Oh, we got some more things. So we can strip the big tables for timber. Up to 3 people, and each person gives you 1 timber. So we got a ton of timber from one of the cargo holds. Yeah, we already have 6. But it's worth a lot of fuel. Practically as much as a sack of coal. So this is clearly here for us to get as much as we can before the ship goes down. Good to know the pumps are still here. Oh, we could pump the water out of those last 2 rooms. Okay. The tinned food. But we can always still take 1 for ourselves, or 1 by ourselves. But yeah, before I would go in here, I would probably pump out the lower decks and just send someone in to grab like the 5 spoiled cans from the 1 remaining room. Way more efficient than individual crates from the pantry. Yeah, I don't see any water in here. I think they were just not packed properly, and the game is glossing over that. How about the red room? Oh, this is clearly flooded now. Oh, you left your hammock? You really need to take the hammock out and put it in your quarters on the ice. How about the bunker? Okay, that's still there. We can take the 1 sack for ourselves. And, yep, 1 to 3, just as before. And, oh, there's a lock. Boiler room has flooded, so no longer accessible. Okay, so we've got a coal bunker, up to 3. 2 timbers, they are both up to 3. That would be 9 people assigned to that, and out of our 16 total assignable people. If we count the 3 from the upper deck, like the 3 scientists going into the science store, that's 12 people pretty much already spoken for on this this assignment period. So let's see what else. Oh, got some hidden circles. Let's do that before we start assigning people out. When was the last time you slept, Chief? A good couple hours in a while back. A couple. Work yourself to death before we even make land. Well, I suppose the ice we're on, it doesn't count as land. Heard that before. Hasn't bloody happened yet. Back to work. Okay, so pop the furnace. Anything else hidden on the ice? We can assign someone for an interview. Now, nobody's demoralized at the moment, but it does also give you 1 point of research. So that is very tempting and interesting. Nothing in the kennels. That does remind me that we don't have any fish for the dogs. And if the ship goes down, what are we going to be assigning people to? Is I suppose, a big concern. Because we only have so many dogs that we can send out to the ice, the 14. Like, if we sent a lot of people, only 3 away, we could get at most 4 trips out of this without having fish. And we know that there's fish up here. So having 12 people already assigned, and we know that the fish is... Well, let's send 1 scout out right now, just to confirm what we can do with the fish, because we have up to 4 people free right now. And I think I'm going to need the fish for next week. So fish. This is up to 4 people. So now we've got a point where we kind of need to make a decision here. bit of a tough decision. Because every fish that we can get is more things to do. And just looking at the camp, most of the things that we have that we can do here have to do with the ship itself, pulling stuff out of the ship, getting coal out of the ship. But if the ship goes down on week 8, like what happened when we stayed in the ship, there's not going to be anything left here. So I think it's important, like if we're only going to be able to do stuff out on the ice, we'd be able to get the dogs back with more fish whenever we can. So I feel like the fish are essential. But we've got the 3 research, 9 coal. The coal is also essential. But what's more important here? Having more coal, or I guess timber in this case, or having the fish for the dogs. Because we basically have really 2 people, no, 3 people, 3 people who we can assign to stuff. So if I do send 9 people gathering fuel, the 3 scientists in the science store, we're going to have 3 people left. I could send them all to fish. We've also got the 1 person for the interview. So that would leave only 2 people for fish, but we know that these go away after use. Like, which 2 am I going to let go out of the number of places that we have? Like 2 fewer people getting fish this week? We don't do the interview this week, or we get 2 less fuel sources off of the ship. And yeah, that's a tough call. I'm going to think about it for a moment, pause, and I'll come right back once I've decided how I'm going to distribute this stuff. Okay, so I've decided I think I can go without the interview for 1 day. If it's taking us, if we're lucky, only 25 fuel per day, living without 17 or 34 by skimping on pulling some timber out of the ship will also work well, because I don't want to waste anything on partial fishing. So let's assign this out. We're going to hunting for actual fish this time. I remember people getting frozen the last time we sent them out to fish. But these will just be sailors. We'll have Brunton as Da. Okay, send them beyond. Okay. Okay, so those fish won't show up until next week, but next week is when we would need that fish. Okay. Now, one thing at a time. Let's go to the science store. The other reason I was thinking like I could skip the interview for a week is if I've got the scientists all dedicated to this, I'm essentially getting 3 bonus research as well. So we're putting all of them into that room, emptying drawers and boxes of all the valuable research they can find. So this might be the only time we could ever even interact with this, so we've maximized it. We have 8 people left. So the coal is more valuable than timber, just going off of the burning capability. So let's fill the coal bunker first. Okay. 3 more sacks of coal. And what we have left is now just going to be... We have 5 people, so we can get almost all of the timber off of these. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else we need to scout out specifically for this week. As long as we've got the fish, we can just do tons of scouting starting next week. So, rest of our scouts, let's get all the timber we can. And now we've only got 2 left. It's going to be the engineers. So we can get 2 more of these. And that's probably going to do it. I feel like this is the best distribution, so 2 more timber. The table is stripped and bundled. Okay. We've collected as much as I think we can off of the ship. Made some tough decisions about what we are and are not doing. So haven't utilized the photographer this week. I think, I need to feed the pot and the furnace. Nobody freezing right now. Let's keep that well stocked. And feed the pot. So nobody is malnourished yet. I mean, we can always put more things into the pot so that we're at a higher base level. We could essentially be at really high and just keep adding the spoiled rations 1 per week. We'll be up to 84. This will be good. And hopefully yeah, 50 food per day is a bunch to deal with. Yep. Yeah, here's... Oh, yeah, we forgot about the 3 food. I think I figured out how the 3 food works with some trial and error, but the most important thing was it does say on the card once per week. So the spoiled rations is really worth 13 instead of 10, which is okay, I guess. But we fed that. Now we can advance to dinner. What does this look like out on the ice? We all have our little bowls of food. The crew have their meal. Turn to their post. It's still bright outside. More things to listen to. And I noticed this sort of white, I guess maybe progress tracker. Maybe that's how long we have to survive. Like 7 out of 35. That's basically a fifth of the way around. But I'm not sure I would trust it entirely, even if that was how it was tracking. Now let's go talking. There's many little dots all around the ice here. Shaw, it's been quite some time since we met. I first met you at the docks. Knew you were suited for the role. Did you not have a say in the crew? I'm simply a representative of our benefactor. Even my own team was beyond my control. I did not disagree with the selection, however. That at least is a relief. Yorick. He approaches during dinner. Captain, you look like you could use some more to eat. Taking up the responsibility of captain is as admirable as it is unenviable. Help yourself to some of my own rations. Thankfully, I'm stuffed. Politely decline. That's kind of you, and accept it. Toadying. So is that what he's really doing here? He's trying to suck up to us? Politely decline, I think, is, it's not like it's going to give us any bonuses. There's no need. Oh, well, the offer's always there. Okay, people liked that, so, everyone's watching, I guess. Turns to their seated position as others look at them with annoyed expressions. It would appear their attempts at gratifying command was unsuccessful. Okay. We got some loyalty. As you pass by, you see Kasha adjusting her camera as she stands partially obscured as she finds the right angle for shots. She raises her head and looks to you. What are you taking photos of? The crew, of course. Quite the unique situation we're in. I want to capture the mood. Maybe I could place it beside our initial crew photos, compare and contrast. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh yeah, I wasn't thinking of, like, the photographic record, the quest to photographically capture every crew member. I suppose that would be nice, but that's not essential. I'm sure many of them have stories to tell. Your eyes dart to the crew, briefly lingering on Kurt, then back to you. Of course, I'm sure many of them have plenty to share. For now, though, I think I'm better off in the background, taking pictures from a distance. Intimidated? Of course not. Why would I be intimidated? Is it really that obvious? It's simply that I followed Kurt's expeditions a lot as a child. Seeing him in person is odd. Kurt doesn't bite. He certainly barks, quite loudly at that, but you're right, I'm just being nervous. It's more that up until now he's been an idea. Makes sense? Kurt's another person, like you or I. I suppose so. Well, I'll leave you be. I'm still looking for the right shot. Maybe I should send him to an interview with her. Actually, that's an assignment. I'm not sure I can assign the specialists from the crew. Because they never have they're always locked, so I can't send them for an interview. I haven't checked the loyalties in a while. Doing pretty well with some of them. She's got a ways to go, but we've been working on it. He's happy. He's close, and we just reached Junior, but he's on the edge. Oh yeah, Grimly, if we ever manage it, it's going to take the rest of the game, probably. Okay, Junior. Good to say you don't hide away from the crew in the evening, Shaw? You didn't seem the type when I first saw you. Call it a pleasant surprise. I'd like to know more about my crew. Your crew. Suppose it's best for you to get comfortable? Stepped in it a little bit there. You get your photo snapped by that photographer too? Aye, she's a landlubber for sure. Treating us like we're some novelty. I don't have much problem with it. Good conversation at least. Nevertheless, good conversation out here. Worked with a lot of captains in my time. Half of them don't know their arse from their elbows. You're different than most of them. I'll try to live up to your expectations. You better. Don't bloody do it for me, Shaw. And there I was, face to face with a leopard seal. Dangerous creatures cannot be mistaken for your average seal. Natural hunters, much faster on land than you'd expect. How do you deal with that, then? I was lucky I had my hunting shotgun at the ready. We were feasting on leopard seal that night. Of course, of all the times the crew weren't filming. Pull the other one. It's true. This other time, Kurt continues to ramble on. Oh, so Kurt's, telling Runt some tales of his exploits. Anyone in the medical tent? Oh, more to talk. The sailor folk seem resistant to my report. Saltborn people are rather private about their culture, especially when someone like myself is asking. Is my report invasive? Am I taking advantage? Suppose you might not be the right person to ask. Let's see, what's the best way to talk about this one? Okay, you're telling an objective story. If the sailors take issue, they'll speak up. I guess that's my message. Part of me hopes that they will, then I'd know where I stand with them. As it stands, it's hard to tell what they think. Oh, Templeton's in here. Maybe that's what I'm overhearing. Dr. Nutley? Mr. Templeton. I trust all is going well. Well, as well as can be. All thanks to your expertise, I take it. I try my best. You should continue to do so. We wish not any further incidents. Is he talking about any incidents in particular that I don't know about? Evening? I've been thinking all day about my mother, father, sister. Never quite struck me, but there's a chance I'll never see them again, isn't there? Sorry, I shouldn't bring up such things. We'll get you back home, Arthur, I promise. Yeah, he needs a lot of reassurance. Thank you, I appreciate what you're doing, Robin. Captain Shaw? Let's see. Yeah, no medical comforts at this point. I think the first go around, I spent some time on it. I wonder why there's one big one there. Maybe that was the last one to be assigned? Don't know why that's... not important. Okay, zoom back in. Lady Cordell. Evening, Captain. There was a song that found itself stuck in my head earlier. Folks were pleased when I began humming it. I may have to make it a habit. Music reminds me of home. Is it the same for you? No home to be reminded of. I prefer to keep moving. Perhaps that ability is what I miss. Yes, pet the dogs. Bork, bork. Bork, bork. Okay. It really zooms out each time. Okay, Grimley. Been trying to come up with a new song. Something about seals, I'm thinking. Hard to think, though. Winds are too distracting. Haven't had a new song in a while. Keep it light. I'm sure the crew would appreciate something jovial. Aye, that's the plan. Harder to think jovial out here. Okay. Still working with them? Hurt. You're not married, are you, Shaw? Take it from me, if you ever do find yourself wedded. It's never as easy as it looks. Oh, I don't know what he would appreciate this time. What brought this on? 8 evenings on the ice grant you quite a lot to look back on. I've had a long life to look back on, Shaw. Okay, well, we didn't do any damage there. Oh, these... more of the sailors. That photographer, Belford? What about her? She come snooping around your tent as well? I caught her crying a couple times. Guess she found nothing on you? No, she did not. We could all learn something from you, Tashi. Interesting. So I'm not sure what exactly he's referring to. Are they, keeping stuff secret? I don't know if he's got a secret stash or something. For a second I thought that was a crown, but I think that's just the fin on the head of the, sea beast. Yeah, I did already send Lefty to talk to her, at least once. He keeps being the one who gets demoralized. Don't know what that says about him. I think we've talked to everybody. So it is time to end this week, I think. And we'll find out if we get to keep a ship for another week. Oh yeah, there's still a lifeboat on it. I thought we already moved. Oh yeah, and there's another one on the deck. I guess 2 of those and 1 big one. So the one the captain took was the one on the other side. Big lifeboat. Don't know how they could move that with 4 people. But, yeah. Okay, let's end the week. Oh, to go. Okay, assign the resources. So, one crew member will be cured of the malnourishment. Don't know why it always takes a while to get this thing to move. So yeah, I have to have at least one, because half causes malnourishment. And as for the fuel, I don't need to cure anyone of freezing right now. But if I do it the other way, a crew member will develop freezing. But that would preserve coal. As long as it's freezing and not frostbite, then I think I'm good to let one person develop freezing. I got the upgrade for the engineers so that each one of them can cure 2 people of freezing. And hopefully my only sources of freezing are going to be either putting the fuel at half, or the people randomly getting it from when we send them out to hunt or do research or whatever. So I can cure up to 4 people just with the engineers, and I could potentially also run the heat at high at the end as well. So I am going to cut the fuel rations just to try to keep things going, and this will already make up for not having gotten that last piece of timber. So let's go. End the week. Little decorum. Oh, our fish. Dogs are back. Ah. The freezing from the hunting happens at the end of the week as well. Okay, so those are our... We have 2 freezing people. Interesting. Well, I can cure both of them with 1 engineer next week. Okay. Oh. What's it telling me? If I can't go out to the ship beforehand, is there anyone to listen to? There is. Ah, Doctor, how are you holding? Still finding yourself with bouts of sickness? No, that isn't a problem. It was only seasickness. We're no longer at sea, my stomach is settled. For the most part. If I ever feel the queasiness set in once more, I've learned an old trick in my travels. Simply close your eyes and count back from 10. Worked a treat in my youth. Alright, I'll try that. Let's see, anyone else out here? Nope, no small ones that I can see unless they're hiding in their tent or something. Okay, enter the request tent. Uh-oh. Ah. Yep, the deck is now looking pretty messed up. Oh, everyone's out watching it. Continue to watch. Oh, that's probably the rigging just fell out to the side. Continue to watch. She's gone. Heads hang low amongst the crew. We got a lot of demoralization. It's lefty again to work through. Okay. Any new things to talk about? But I'm sure a lot's going to come up during the request tent. Let's get right into it, I guess. Okay, does the journal say anything? Nope, nothing about the ship going down. So week 8, ship went down. Stanberry? He's come by himself? We must speak to him. Arf. Bark, bark. Should you not be with your master dog? Please do not bother the captain. Apologies, Shaw. No doubt Stanberry smelled the scent of the latest catch on you. The latest catch? Some fish was added to the stores, I take it? Stanberry has quite the taste for it. Are you suggesting we feed it to the dogs? If you wish. I assure you they have enough to eat, though. I am certain the pack would enjoy that. We cannot allow them to grow spoiled. Come, Stanberry. Odd creatures? Okay. We haven't actually used the fish much, aside from that accident during the first playthrough where we discovered it revives them. But I guess that's telling us, don't just completely feed the dogs with a ton of fish all the time. Okay, good hint. Kasha! Captain, take a look at this. Before the ship sank, I was checking the cabins of, well, the missing crew. Dun dun dun. Seems they left behind a good amount of their belongings, a good few books and the like. Not much use for them now. I put them at the top of the list to burn for fuel. We can't do that. Yes, we can. We are in need of as much fuel as we can find, Belfort. We will need good reason to preserve them. These aren't simply novels the missing crew brought with them for leisure. They left their journals behind, their diaries, logs of their life on this ship and before. This can't be burned. Captain, I request that I hold on to these journals for use in my report. I think the rest of the crew would appreciate their stories being preserved. Suppose the sailors would not take kindly to burning the remnants of their lost colleagues? Aye, but what else do we have? Not much else we can burn, is there? Well, that's why we collected all that coal and timber and stuff. This is the kind of thing where we would revisit if our coal stores were out. But, they're not really giving us that option when it should be relevant. They're bringing it to us way early. So hopefully, that won't be necessary. Kasha, keep the books for your report. So, Engineer didn't like that, but she probably loves us by this point. I'll ensure that their story is told. We'll be able to do that if we freeze to death. And Junior. Ah, don't suppose you've been keeping track of the days? I have a general sense. Well, you'll be pleased to know that today is Imbolg. I am not aware of such an occasion. Not surprised you wouldn't recognize it. To us, it's a major holiday. Don't expect to ask the day off. No, Imbolg often comes with a traditional feast. I thought it might be good to hold one for the sailors' sake. Oh, okay, it's basically an extra portion of food. So all that extra I put in is suddenly going to be consumed if I go along with this. We really don't have the food on hand for this. But it's also going to boost our decorum basically up to max, and it's been flagging a little bit. But if we say no, it doesn't look like the decorum goes down, but we do have a lot of people who just got the demoralized status. And if I hold onto the kegs as much as I can, like if I just treat them one per day with the photographer, that's going to take off 15 decorum before they're all better. If I was a little bit lower, this would be a lot easier to say because if I send the researchers out on like an expedition, I can get this much decorum back, I think. So this is a tough one. Because the food is the thing we've got the least of. We don't have extra stuff really in storage right now. All of the spoiled rations are going to make people sick, malnourished, and the malnourished people are going to make us have to use more food, which then requires us to use more spoiled rations, and it's a vicious cycle. I've got 1 tinned rations left, so I might be able to get away with, like, doing a ton of hunting this week. But what else do I even have? Can I check it? Oh, I can. Good. So I've got... We could feed the pot. Oh, but that causes malnutrition as well. It's not much better than the spoiled rations. Because, yeah, I could have 20 from that, basically 13 from this with the spice crate. So add 33, that gets me up to 70. So if we treat them with the feast right now, then we're going to be down to 45, not 50 at the end. So I won't be able to feed everyone without putting in extra spoiled rations. And people will have malnutrition that I'll have to treat next week with tons of food. So I feel like dealing with all the extra malnutrition, like at this point, I think I just don't have enough food for this. Which is going to be tough. So we will politely decline. This hurts. I want to say yes, but I guess I'm being the responsible captain of... We're going to have to make up this decorum by doing research and stuff like that. I cannot spare. I'm sorry. He's probably going to be unhappy. I thought that'd be the case. Oh well, was worth asking. Oh. Yeah, the minus 15 decorum penalty I was hoping you would warn me about. That might have changed my calculus. So people are getting... Yeah, that's enough decorum to be an issue. Oh boy, okay. It's not time to call for dinner yet, but let's talk to everyone we can. Do you have any experience with cameras? No, they can't be too complicated. Oh, why, did you go and break yours? No, I was wondering that if something did happen, you'd at least have some parts to fix it with. Aye, I should. The question is if I want to waste good parts on a bloody camera. Spare parts? You're hardly going to be wasting them. What more could some spare scrap be used for? You have no idea. Let's see, anyone else talkative out here? Okay, it's time to start figuring out how we're going to assign people today. So our first assignment is going to be one of these demoralized people. Let's get them. How nice that they've grouped the photographer with the medical person, because they're both treating status ailments. Not resource cards, people. Not the freezing people. I've already had Lefty in for a portrait. If I was going to cure anyone with the keg of ale, it would be him, strictly because he's already been interviewed. So, gnomes or Tucker? Let's have gnomes. And this gets us another point of research. And a little decorum. Okay. So now, something that's abundantly clear is that we have a ton of things to do not here. And clearly we need the dogs to go anywhere. So what do we want to do with our 14 dogs? I suppose we could treat it as though it was 16 if we spend one fish. It sounds like we've been told not to overfeed the dogs. So we definitely want to do some scouting, having more places that we can go to. I guess everything's only 3 away since we got both of the upgrades. How much research do we have? Do we have enough to get... That's a ton, but 22 out of 30. Okay, that would be enough for the penguins, though. Maybe that's just a threshold. I suppose that's something I need to learn. Like with 20 research, I can go after them, and with 30, I could go after them. But if it uses it up, that's so different. But I think what it's telling me is that I can repeatedly hunt for that type of animal once, and it would take up 5 of the dogs for me to do. I need to figure out how this works, so we are going to hunt them. So we can have up to 4 people on this. Well, yeah, I can't choose who I cure with the kegs of ale if I do that. That's a bit frustrating. Yeah, I mean 5 penguins, so this is a big hunting job. We need the food, but this also won't take anything off of the map. Okay, they're marked down to hunt. 11 people left. Now, the seals... This one's 1 to 4. This one is exactly 2. So, this is interesting. And we do need to fill up on food as much as we can. I know I didn't get to give them a feast, but that's probably a, maybe there's going to be a future thing. If I can keep the food topped up, then we'll be in a better position for all of that. Okay, I suppose I can test that now. Okay, 22 out of 15. So I can only hunt each type of these animals once per week, but it looks like it is a threshold. So that's good. That means as soon as we get up to 30, we could hunt the big guys every week, and maybe the top 2 guys every week. Use a lot of dogs, but that's okay. So now we've got scouting versus hunting. So there is one thing we have to do back here, and that is raising the heat with our engineer to cure our 2 freezing people. So, yep, okay, they're better. So all of our demoralized people have been assigned. We have 10 crew left. And there's nothing for us to do here at the camp. So really glad I got those fish. What are we gonna do? So scouting's gonna use up the dogs really quickly, but if I can send... I suppose that's why we have all of these things down at the bottom, is they're repeatable hunts that I can do every single week. I feel like I definitely should get the big guys while I can. It'll take 3 dogs, but I'm assuming that because they're the top, they'll give us the most food. I wonder if I can only give one of them the shotgun. Oh yeah, the scientists. So actually I think there's a science thing here. Let's do a scout. Yep. Okay, so I need to send the scientists on a science thing to make the most use of what they're doing. That's also going to give us more research for the expedition. So they'll have been used for something appropriate. I could use 2 of them just on making those medical comforts. We could have a disaster. But I guess I'll think about that as soon as I've reached the 30 research. Try to get that level as fast as we can. Mark down to hunt. Hunting them test tubes and beakers. Forms back up a little bit. Now that we've only got 6 left. Choices. If I sent 2 people out there, I can't hunt that. I'm not going to get that research for a bit. But if I hunted those seals, 1 to 4 people. Also, how many dogs does it take? Did it tell me? Okay, it would take 5 dogs. It looks like it's 5 dogs for any of these things. So I would need to feed them the 2 fish even to get out the door on hunting these seals. Whereas it's only 3 to go after this, but then I would need to feed 2 fish to go anywhere else as well. Running out of dogs is the problem here, not running out of people. If I had the dogs for it, I would send 2 people after this and then 4 people after one of the other seals. Or I guess the scouting? I could have 2 scouts scout and then 4 people go hunting after something that doesn't take as many dogs. That would still take up 6. So I would be feeding the dogs 3 times, and we just got warned about that. But I don't know what the consequences are. It's just a vague warning not to spoil the dogs. That's tough, but we don't have enough dogs to do the things we need to do. I also don't want to send Runt off on one of these things. But I guess he's going to get taught by his Da how to hunt. Okay. Oh, good. We get to use the guns more than once. It's just a static thing. They're not brought out on the hunt with the other people and not eligible for the other one. So if I do this, yeah, I gotta learn what the consequences are, I guess. Runt. And also Runt's Da. So let's go to the dog hut and feed them some fish. Now we've got 2, but we need a total of more than this. Now I've learned that doing things in the incremental tiny pieces, not just feeding them all the times in a row. But now let's send Scout out to here, because we're using up these fish really fast. Back in. Feed the dogs. Okay, they haven't given us consequences yet, but they may be delayed. So where do we scout with our last one of the day? Okay, a research thing for tomorrow. That's nice. And yeah, if we didn't have both of those map upgrades for getting us a discount on the dogs, this problem of having not enough dogs would be so much worse than it already is. But now I'm thinking, yeah, I really, really need those fish as well. But I suppose on the bright side, we are heavily incentivized to just send as many people out with a single expedition as possible. Let's feed both of these things. Yep, coal goes in. Sounds good. 1 coal, please. Could put 2 in. 75 is the most I should ever need for a single event. And the food. So nothing's been fed this week. Spoiled rations. Sorry. I suppose if I just alternated 25 and 50, because with 25 I would get a malnourished person, 50 would cure that malnourished person, but then I couldn't use any of these spoiled rations. And we just saw one thing, so we're not going to have any spare food. Yeah, it's weird that the fish causes malnutrition, but I guess it's as though that was the only thing those people were eating that week. With these spoiled rations, like having to spend 50 to treat them every week. Okay, so feed the hoosh, it's up to 70. We can cure our malnourished person, assuming no funky events happen. Time to eat. Ding ding. Have their meal. It's still bright outside. Yeah, the length of night appears to be growing back up again. Oh, okay. Can't forget to talk to everyone. Need to build up that loyalty. I must retire for the evening. I'll see you in the morning. Oh, okay, nothing. Well, to Imbolg. Not quite the same with leftovers. Sorry I can't serve up more. Shaw wouldn't have it. Don't worry about the food, Junior. It's not about that. We get to celebrate it. That's what matters. Sure. So they're sad that they don't get the feast. Sorry, but I couldn't start hunting yet. I had to get all the stuff off the ship. Gonna call it a night? Oh, for once they don't all have something to say. They all want to go to bed. Watching those young pups, don't know how I had that energy once. Not alone there, friend. Hard to remember days I moved without this cane. Harder to remember having both eyes. They'll look like us one day. Well, let's hope not. Oh, we've got multiple dog things. So watching... Oh, dogs are fighting? You spot a pair of dogs engaged in an aggressive conflict. Teeth bared and snarling, two creatures snap at each other. Cordell is nowhere to be seen, but the kennel master's whip has been left aside, resting atop a crate. The fight begins to intensify. Oh boy. She might not like it if we crack the whip at the dogs, but fetching Cordell might take more time, not leaving them be. Now, how much does she like us right now? Can I spend the... She doesn't like us enough yet. But I feel like if we... This may be a consequence of spoiling the dogs, it might not, I don't know. So, fetching Cordell shouldn't get us, shouldn't make her angry at us. Grabbing the whip and cracking it ourselves. Like, I'm worried about our maximum dogs going down to 13 or something. Don't like this. You like to break up the fight among the dogs yourself. Turn your attention to the two sparring animals. A voice from behind interrupts you. What do you... Oh, good. So you are around. Well, she doesn't like it, but hopefully she'll break it up. Putting a glare on us. Put that thing down. The whip is only for matters of life and death. Well, I thought it was life and death. That was in my calculus. Neither of them are going for the throat. These boisterous displays are common among the pack. A simple feed and they'll stop. She takes the whip from your hand. Okay, if you see something that concerns my pack, inform me before you decide to do something foolish. So that was the wrong answer. But yeah, our character would not know about going for the throat. Bork, bork. Not feeding you any more today. Any more going on up here? He says no. How about Kurt? Nobody has anything to say this week. Well, that's amazing. Still check in on them just in case. Oh, nothing to say. Oh, something to listen to. Hello. Oh, hello. Do you need something? When did you become a doctor? Oh, that was quite recent. I'm young into this line of work. Do you think I could be a doctor? Well, if you study, yes. Can I have one of your books? Of course. The doctor hands him a small book. Front leaves excited. Well, that was sweet. Oh, but nothing else to say to us. Okay, and that's it. The same people I've already tried to talk to. Well, I guess this week went by a little bit faster. I noticed that the night is growing a little bit longer again, but the temperature is still going down. Interesting. I wonder if that's how many people are just going to get freezing just by default each night. Hold it down. Okay, so yep, I need to cure someone of malnourishment. I do not need to cure someone of their freezing. So, yeah, one crew member will develop freezing. We still have a lot of ways to deal with freezing, so we need to preserve the fuel. Interesting. Negative 21. Oh, that's based on this, not how warm it will feel afterwards. Okay, I think this is how we have to go. And what happens? Okay. Hey, 3 research. Bunch of penguins, bunch of seals. Now Lefty is freezing and demoralized. Research team got freezing as well. Okay. Yep, here's our decorum hits. So we're below 50. Probably would be. Maybe something gave us some extra bonus. Probably we got credit for the interview. Okay. Start week 9. I thought the ship was going to come back up or something when it jumped the camera over there. Okay. Well, nothing else went crazy wrong in the morning for week 9. And that means Oh yeah, there's 2 open spots now. We have a lot of freezing people. Guess we can't play too rough with that anymore. Okay. Well, I think that's gone on enough that we need to stop the episode here. So, hope you've enjoyed this one. It looks like now we're really into the game proper, where we're just managing resources, particularly those dogs, to give us more events to spend people on. Don't want just bored people, unless that would increase decorum or something. But we'll have to find out what's going on, what new events will happen in the next episode. So, see you then. Bye-bye.